Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to Smashing English. If you are learning British English pronunciation, specifically received pronunciation or standard English, there is one sound you absolutely must master. It's the most common vowel sound, yet so many learners overlook it. Yes, it's the schwa. Let me show you how to make it and why it's so important. So what exactly is the schwa sound? A great way to think of it is a neutral sound, like this, The tongue isn't doing anything, the lips aren't doing anything, it's just like this, And the symbol, if you like the phonetic alphabet, looks like an upside down E. So if you see that in your phonetics, it means Let's look at this sound in some words, shall we? So let's start with this one. Now, very commonly, if you see a word that has two or more syllables and it ends in an ER, a lot of the time that's going to be a schwa. So let's try it. You ready? Teacher, teacher. Now, a lot of my students open the mouth too much here. They go, teacher, teacher. And that's too much. It needs to be relaxed, relaxed. Just throw the sound away. Teacher, teacher. Imagine you're just giving up on the word and you're just throwing the sound away. Teacher, not teacher. It's not this big sound. Teacher. What about this word? So this word has two schwa sounds. So if you know how to make a schwa sound, you should be able to do this correctly. Banana, banana. So the big sound is here, na, bana. The other two are just relax relax the mouth, relax the lips. Banana, banana. And finally, what about this one? About, about. Not about, about. That neutral sound. So notice that all of these are on the unstressed syllables. Teacher, banana, about. So they don't go on the stressed syllables. The schwa is normally unstressed. Now you might be thinking, why should I care about this tiny little sound? Well, let me tell you. If you want to sound like a native speaker, and I know a lot of my students do, you have to know this sound because native speakers use it all the time. It happens in about 1 in every 3 vowels in spoken conversation. It's pretty common. And it just helps the pronunciation flow smoothly because without it, you can sound a little bit robotic or unnatural. For example, a piece of cake. A piece of cake. It sounds weird. It sounds overly careful. A piece of cake. However, with the schwas, a piece of cake. A piece of cake. A piece of cake. A piece of cake. Most native speakers don't even say the F. They just say a piece of cake. 2 schwas, a piece of cake. It just sounds more natural, it flows better. The schwa is also useful to know because it helps with rhythm. A lot of my students at the moment, they have really good pronunciation, but they're struggling with the rhythm and intonation and, oh, do I make this word stressed or do I stress this word? This helps with that because if you know that the schwa sound is unstressed, it helps you know where to put your stresses because you know I don't need to put it on a schwa sound. So in a piece of cake, we know that we are not going to stress a or of. We're going to stress the other two. A piece of cake, a piece of cake. It just helps with the rhythm and the intonation. Let's look at some super common words that contain the schwa. Say them with me now. Amount, amount. Alone, alone. About, about. Problem, problem. Children, children. Calendar, calendar. Telephone, telephone. Pencil, pencil. Comfort, comfort. Focus, focus. Now here's something that you might not realise. The schwa shows up in little everyday words as well. These are function words. Words like to, for, of, an. Now for words like of and for, how we say them on their own is very different to how we say them in connected speech. So of, for. However, when they're in connected speech, they become of and f. Those schwas just take over. And to often becomes t. So to go becomes to go. To go. For you becomes for you. For you. A lot of becomes a lot of. A lot of. So these common little everyday function words often get schwas put into them. So see if you can hear that. The next time you're listening to a podcast or a TV show or a movie, see if you can listen out for that. Okay, let's practice some sentences. So say these after me and try to find where the schwas are. So I haven't labelled the schwas. See if you can predict where they're going to be. So have a look at this first one. Where do you think the schwas are? Here. Boop. So that is a schwa. So repeat after me. I want a coffee. I want a coffee. I want a coffee. Do you hear how that is barely heard? You barely hear it. It's such a small, relaxed sound and it's unstressed. So you barely hear it. It is not the big part of this sentence. We don't say, I want a coffee. Or I want a coffee. I want a coffee. What about this next one? Where do you think the schwas are? So there would be two, Now this is always a really tough one for people because they're so used to saying to. And on its own, that is how we say that word. We say to. However, when it's in connected speech, a lot of the time it is said with a schwa, especially when we see to the. We rarely say to the. We most commonly say to the, to the, to the. Now that will feel really weird for you to begin with, but I promise you it's correct. So instead of let's go to the park, let's go to the park. Let's go to the park. Let's have a look at the next one. Where are the schwas here? What do you think? So we have a, that's always a schwa, and doctor. So throw the sound away at the end. She's a doctor. She's a doctor. So don't give me too much time on this. Just say the sound and move on. She's a doctor. And then at the end, throw the sound away. She's a doctor. Next one, we've got one here. Yes, that word on its own is an, but it just sounds a bit unnatural to go, this is an egg. This is an egg. Just sounds weird. This is an egg. This is an egg. And the last one, where do you think the schwas go here? So THE will always be a schwa unless it comes before a vowel. So if it comes before a vowel, we would say the. So the apple, the orange, the ocean. However, this is not coming before a vowel, it's coming before a consonant. So we do a schwa and we say the. And a lot of the time you barely hear it. You mostly hear this part. So focus more on that part of the word. Don't put too much energy. I've got it all over my fingers. Don't put too much energy on the because then you might make it too big and go the, and that's too much. The king, the king, the king. Then we've got one here. Again, on its own, that word is of. But when we put it in connected speech, a lot of the time it becomes of, the king of, the king of, the king of. And then there's another one here. Boop. So in countries that end in land, a lot of the time we don't say land, we say lund. So the Netherlands, Iceland, Finland, England, Greenland, the king of England, the king of England, the king of England. So here are 3 quick tips to help you master the schwa. Number 1, don't try so hard. So many of my students, they try to make a schwa, but their mouth is moving around. They're going like, You don't need to do anything. When I say relax, I mean relax. Just let your mouth just hang open like that. Like imagine like when you're sleeping, you're kind of like this. And you're sleeping like that. Just let your face go dead, completely dead. Imagine you are dead, you are asleep. Relax your face. Let your jaw hang open like that. Ready? I hope you're doing it with me, otherwise I look ridiculous. Then just make a sound from your mouth. Don't change anything. Relax your face. See how dead my face is? It should feel relaxed. It should just feel like a natural sound coming out. Tip number 2, now that you know what it sounds like, try to listen for the schwa when you listen to podcasts, TV shows, audiobooks. Try to listen for it and then try to replicate it. And tip number 3, if you're feeling advanced, start to practice sentences and their rhythm. So give yourself a sentence and see if you can practice the rhythm as well. Make sure the schwas are on the unstressed syllables. So something like this. I'd rather have a bigger coffee. I'd rather have a bigger coffee. So notice how I'm not stressing those schwas. They are helping with the rhythm of the sentence, because when I do a schwa, that's normally the lower part of the sentence. So if you're feeling a bit more advanced, make sure you're practicing rhythms and intonations, not just the sounds. Ooh, quick schwa tip. So when you have a word like this that ends in ends in a schwa, if you put an S on the end to make it plural, make it a z sound and go uz. So mother, mothers. Laura, Laura's. Father, fathers. And that's the schwa, the most important vowel sound in British English pronunciation. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it useful, please give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and head over to Instagram at smashing.english for more English tips. You can go to smashingenglish.com to see all of our amazing English courses, and you can become a member of this channel and get even more to help you with your English learning journey. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Ta-ta!